You're probably repeating the same mistakes, overwhelmed from too many tasks or unclear on priorities, feeling stuck scaling your business because you're drowning in chaos. Maybe you're procrastinating due to a lack of clarity. You misalignment between daily tasks and long-term goals, as in you're doing things that you think help you, but they actually don't. You feel stuck on where to start. Sometimes you're overestimating or underestimating task complexity and how long things take. You feel like you're falling behind. You have a lack of momentum from unclear next steps. Maybe you're running out of time for critical tasks, misusing high energy times for low priority work. Maybe you're burning out from poor energy distribution. Maybe you have a lack of connection between the tasks that you're doing and the desired outcomes. Or maybe sometimes you fall into self-doubt about achieving your goals and you get poor motivation because you're unclear on what success looks like. This is self-sabotage. You're caught in the wheels of chaos and operating from a shittier version of yourself. So let me show you in this video the best 90-minute system that keeps high-level entrepreneurs like you focused, productive, and unstoppable. Now, if you don't know who I am, I'm Luke Anning. I used to be a growth partner at a 7-figure company. I have a top 2% podcast called The Happy Positive Energy Game. And I help entrepreneurs like you stop self-sabotaging and getting in your own way. Now, entrepreneurs earning 5 to 30K a month, even up to 50K a month, and even millionaires I know face unique challenges. Constant mental clutter, decision fatigue, lack of clarity, and without a system, you waste hours reacting instead of scaling. And it's ironic because you know you need systems, but you can be more fucking unsystemized. You likely got here because you're an action taker. You refuse to let victim mindset hold you back, and maybe you even have a team, but they keep fucking up and know you need help with structure and planning, but you don't know how to do it as effectively as you like. Now, a system is a strategy repeated, tweaked, improved, and grown on. Now, I have this framework, this 90-minute power planner exercise, and I'm going to give credit to a podcast I did with Graham Alcott, author of How to Be a Productivity Ninja. Changed my life as an ADHDer. If you haven't got your hands on it, get yourself on it. And you can check the podcast out here that I did with Graham. And also over $100,000 of coaching investments over the last 4 years, which you can also check out the video here as well. Now, before we get into this, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we are gonna get into it. So this is a 6-step process that I want to walk you through. So let's get into this. So the first thing that I need you to realize is that your mind is like a funnel. So any business, any good business should have a funnel. You have lead generation, you have lead nurturing, you have sales, and then you have client delivery, right? So this is your marketing and sales funnel. All these things should interlink, right? We're not going to get into that, but it's the same with your brain. Your brain actually has so many different let's draw your brain here. Your brain has so many different things coming in and going out of it all of the time that if you don't have a system for all of the tasks, all of the nags, everything going on in your mind, you so easily can get overwhelmed. You can so easily get frustrated. You can so easily let things slip by. So the first thing that we actually need to do is we need to funnel your brain. So that's what we do in number 1, which is capture and collecting. Now, what I do is mind dumping. I'm sure some of you have done mind dumping before. You know, you get a pen, a paper, you just literally list out. If you haven't done that before, it's going to change your life. So what do we do here? We write down everything that's occupying your mind, your tasks, your ideas, your worries, your reminders. I like to use a timer when I do this, like 20 minutes, because if you're doing this for the first time, you might be here for a minute because you have so many things in your head, which look at your brain as like a computer operating system. You've got RAM space, right? If I have 500 different tabs open, if you've got a slow old computer, one that's been battered, bruised, has gone through so many different things, it's going to operate slower. And these are all the tasks in your head, right? We just literally just got a glitch on my laptop as I was opening more and more tabs. So what this exercise does is it helps you clear mental clutter. It helps you create a clean state to work from, helps you to identify priorities and reduce anxiety by externalizing all of your negative thoughts and putting them, or negative thoughts or any thoughts, of things that you've got built up in your mind or in different locations, and you put it down in one place. Now, the key skills here that you learn as you do this is mental clarity and focus. You get to learn how to categorize ideas and tasks, and then you reduce decision fatigue. Now, business application wise, this helps you prevent overwhelm and ensures that you can stay on top of client tasks, marketing ideas, operational needs, little reminders without forgetting anything. Any commitments that you've made, that you said to somebody, hey, I'm going to go do this thing, and then you don't do it. Because if you don't do that, you lose self-trust with yourself. You drop your self-worth, you drop your self-belief, and then you can enter into a shame and a guilt spiral where you make yourself not feel enough because you're not in alignment with the person that you know you can be. Resonating? Right? That's what happens when you don't clear your mind of all the things that are in your brain. So that's the first part of this thing, is you're going to funnel your brain through mind dumping. The next step here is we're going to process each item from the mind dump, and we categorize it into actionable items, calendar tasks, or master actions. Master actions is like a advanced to-do list. In this advanced to-do list, it has categories. Like if you were going to go to the shops, it might be easier rather than, or if you were going to order your food, it might be easier rather than just putting like sausages here, water next, and then, I don't know, journal as well. It's going to be easier on your mind if you have all the meats, all the carbohydrates, all the fats, all the dairy products, all the beverages. So then when you're in the shops or when somebody else goes to the shops, boom, done, covered. Now you might already order online, but bear with me here. It's the same for your mind. You want to have places where you store this information, categorized based on your energy, which is a master actions list, and then you're going to discard or eliminate anything that's non-critical. So once we've mind dumped all of these tasks, once you've mind dumped everything, you're then going to take it into actually processing the mind dump. Now, this might go into your calendar. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then you also might have different energy times during the day of when you operate best. If you watch my video with Elliot Serena, I said that, hey, some of the best times to be proactive and your best energy might be between 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then you might have another block, might be evening for you. For some people it is as well, like evening time. So this task list, the master actions list, will actually allow you to do that. And what this does is it transforms scattered thoughts into an actionable, prioritized plan and help you maintain momentum by eliminating low value distractions. And most people fuck this up because they store information in multiple places. Have a think. How many journals do you have? How many to-do lists? How many sticky notes? How many different Notion, Airtable, Trello, WhatsApp, like all these different places, Telegram, Slack, like all these different locations of things that you're like, oh, this is going to be the thing that's going to help me be productive. No, because you've got now more things where you don't know where stuff is, rather than have just a few different things. So the next part of this organize and process is actually having less things. So if you have 3 whiteboards, is actually turning that into one whiteboard and ditching the other one. If you have 55 different fucking emails, we eliminate this and we put it into one work one, one business, and one personal one, right? So that's the second part of that, is organizing and processing. Now, when I'm processing these tasks from the list, they then either go into calendar or they go into a master actions list. Now, how to actually break down the amount of tasks that you're doing and actually go through this process, I would recommend that you join my school community. In here, in the first growth starter pack, here is outer work. And in outer work, there is a how to tear end overwhelm. So I actually go through this mind dumping process with you. Oh, let's not completely destroy my trainings. We also have the cutting out mental clutter, which is step 2. So creating a list of everywhere you currently store information, identifying the essential things that you need, and then getting rid of things that you don't need. And then this is something that Valentina came through, who we had a community call with this morning. And she said this. She was currently already doing some calendar management, already planning some things in her calendar, but not to the level of detail that I teach. So this is something that I wanted to show you guys.
What I'm doing is like I having lots of meetings with clients. Like today, you're my 5th meeting of the day. I'm like, exhausted. And I implemented what you told us in the group about the optimization of blocking squares for your calendar. I used to do that, although what I didn't used to do was adding like the Zoom link meeting or the Google Meet, and that helps me a lot with productivity. So now I can just go to my Google Calendar, copy and send in a text for my clients so they don't forget about that. Because right now, since I'm so new on myself, I cannot implement the software like Calendly and all these things because I'm implementing other things in the business, like in my team and on ads and other things. And I was
So coming back to this, like think about how much time you're wasting by not having things systemized, not having easy places where this goes. And the key skills that you develop when you go through this process is you learn to make decisions, you learn to task prioritize, you have better time and energy allocation, just like Valentina. She was like, hey, like now I can just quickly go into this, boom, boom, boom. Like you think about it, like that 5 minutes of wasted thing, each energy is so much brain energy for you to try and process. So when you streamline where you're storing and processing all of this information, you can streamline your workflows by ensuring tasks align with your current business goals. You can also focus on income generating activities and avoid any unnecessary distractions and really get going and clicking. Now, the next piece of this is as you're funneling down with your mind here, is actually catching up and following up. A lot of people store different things in different parts of their calendar. They forget to follow up, they forget to do things, and they lose sales. Did you know, like some studies have shown that over 50% of your sales come from follow-ups? There's people that you're messaging right now that would buy if you just messaged, but you don't do it because you don't have a system for following up. You don't have your systems done. So the next part of this 6-step system is reviewing recent and upcoming appointments, conversations, actions list, and identifying what needs follow-up or clarification. So what I do here is I go 3 weeks back in my calendar and I look for any appointments, any conversations that I had, anything that was missed. And then I also go 2 weeks forward so that I can get anything prepped for my team or for myself and just really align where I'm at. Then that way it's like, oh, okay, cool, that's covered. I'm ahead of schedule on that. I'm ahead of that. So then it's not a last minute, like, oh no, I've got this deadline out of nowhere. Like there's not this like panic, overwhelm, like it's tax season. The amount of people that leave their taxes like until the last minute when it's like, you've had all year to figure this out. You could have just built a system and learned how to do it. And the reason why we do this is we close loops on unresolved commitments and ensure that nothing's missed, because every unresolved commitment is a break of integrity and responsibility and professionalism within you, which diminishes your self-worth. And now you feel like you're not enough as a business owner. So no wonder you feel like you're falling behind. And no wonder things are stagnant, because you've got things last week that are waiting to be received, waiting to be processed. And God and the universe is like, hey, it's here. Do it. And you're like, oh, like I completely forgot because I'm going at 100 miles an hour and I've got 100 things in my head. It's like, yeah, we need to go to step one. We need to process all these things in your head. We need to organize and process them. And then we need to catch up with the things that you missed. So that's that stage. And this really helps you with improving client retention and trust, because obviously you're going to be able to follow up consistently with your clients, but also keeping sales opportunities alive and nurtured and reducing the chance of missed revenue. Now, the next stage, once you've done that, that's more of like the reflection and the past self. Now we're going to start focusing on the week ahead or month ahead or months ahead or year ahead. When you first do this, we do something called a 90-day anti-procrastination plan with all of my clients. So what they do, what they get here is we go through this process and we onboard and we go into the anti-procrastination plan. And really what we do here is we just break down what are their 3 core goals for the year ahead, and then we start working backwards. Now, some people are like, I've done this before, like this doesn't really work for me. The reason why it hasn't worked for you as fully as you would have liked is because you likely did it by yourself, or you did it with somebody that wasn't trained in this, right? You didn't do it with somebody that does this every single fucking day. I do. Once you get to this level, so once you've done your year, your quarter, your month, and you're into this weekly planning activity, you map out your 1 to 3 main outputs for the week, and then you map out your supporting inputs. Big up shout to my boy Eduardo Lu, one of the peak performance coaches, for teaching this, and then I just put it on steroids. But anyhow, we do this, and then this allows you to be proactive with your week, allows you to play offense rather than defense. And then this is also how we took my first business partner from 5K a month to 25K in 5 weeks. That's a 500% increase in income. Can you imagine what that would do for you? And I want to literally show you how we broke this down. Called it. So the first thing that we did was we actually mapped out like our different parts of our funnel, which was cool. And then what we did was we mapped out our end of June goals. So output based for me was moving to Bali, having that business at 80K months and giving 10K to charity. Boom, tick this one, halfway off this one. And obviously I moved business partnerships from, well, not obviously, but for context for you guys, I moved from one business partnership into a higher level opportunity. So we let go of that. So we mapped out literally everything that we needed to do. So we had a 5K to 10K package. We knew that we needed 5 to 10 clients. We needed to pre-sell people before the 23rd of May. We knew that at the time, we didn't really know what our sales data was going to look like, but we said, hey, let's say you close 1 in 3. Let's say we need 15 to 30 calls for that month. We need to pitch 30 to 60 because typically when you pitch a call, 50% are going to book. We guessed at ad spend, and then we were like, okay, so now we need to actually get into April. What do we need to do for April? And then from there, it was like, oh, we need to have a 30K month. We need to have 3.5 high ticket sales. This was actually, initially we were priced at 5K. Then we knew we needed 6 high ticket sales, 27 calls, 54 pitch, and 150 to 200 DMs, replies, etc. And that was the method that we were using. And it was cool because what's really fun about this was these weren't initial goals, like getting Renee out of closing and me taking sales calls. That was not the initial goal. Initially, the game plan was Renee was going to take the calls. I was going to do the DMing, the ad creation, and a lot of the tech setup. And then Renee was going to do the client delivery as well as the sales. And one of the things that we learned in the first couple of weeks was like, Renee was like, I'm really not enjoying these calls, but I know that we really need to do them. So can you take the calls? And I was like, okay, cool. So the first couple of weeks, we closed 2 clients at 5K, one on a payment plan, one off the back of a sales call. And then I closed her in the DMs. And then the next couple of weeks, she was like, okay, I took the first call, and initially we didn't close. And then I was just like, I'm going to raise the prices because I'm really confident selling 10K packages. Screw it. So then, we ended up selling our first 10K package the day after. And that took us up to 20K. And then we got another 5K payment plan as well. So that was literally within the first 5 weeks. But this is what we did on our weekly. So the first week, we mapped out the weekly goals. So we needed to improve our closing ratio to 25%, get Renee out of closing. So we needed to book 8 calls, pitch 16, 120 touch points a day. I needed to book 3 role plays with Renee. We ended up eliminating that. I needed to watch some sales trainings and make sure that she had 2 YouTube videos put in a week. And that allowed us to, that was our first output goal for that week. The second output goal was get our appointment setter at the time to onboard as well. So we needed to launch 2 new ads. We needed to keep the DMs going. We needed the double ad spend. And then the other goal was improve the closing ratio to 30%, which was me taking my first calls at the 12th of April, booking 3 calls, going through 2 leadership books. So we really just, all we did was just map out what are the inputs that we need to do to get to the outputs. And that is really this stage, is mapping out what are if you have 3 output goals this week, what are the inputs that are going to get you there? And this allows for better delegation, scaling by planning essential outputs and getting rid of anything that's not necessary. And then also make sure that you have measurable progress on your goals rather than just like, oh, I want to make more sales. I want to do 5 things this week. It's like, no, that's like the best way to not be predictable and the best way to self-sabotage, because you can just justify why things didn't happen rather than just looking at the data. So that's stage 4, is taking each of these and then doing this each week and then mapping it into daily goals. So that was week 1, this was week 2, this was week 3, etc. And then we reset as we moved into May. So then we started getting some more measurable data, and then we started moving into the next step, the next step, the next step. And just doing this each week allowed us to just really tangibly, really step-by-step linear systems have a quantum leap because we had a quantum leap because we had the mindset change and we had the inner work and we were able to just trust to follow the roadmap. And then we had the linear systems to just step-by-step build us up because we just mapped it out each week of like what we need to do and what we don't need to do. Then stage 5 is preparing logistics, documents, and schedules for the week. So ensuring people, tools, resources are aligned. And this helps you reduce friction and maximize productivity by preparing for challenges and minimize disruptions. The key skills that you develop here: preparation and foresight, resource management, and effective communication. And it reduces the stress of any last minute preparation for client calls, team meetings, launches, anything like that. And that'll help you free up some time for high level strategy and creative work. Like for today, I'm able to go and film 4 YouTube videos because I've got the time in the day to do it. I've got the time to just flow a little bit more. Masculine structure allows feminine flow. So we just knew exactly what we were going to do. And then Renee, for context, would only work any like 2 to 4 hours a day. And then I would just hit the appointment setting block in the morning and appointment setting block in the evening. And that's it. Like that's all we did. We just did the important things and that's it. We didn't do anything we didn't need to do. And then the last step of this is the weekly reflection checklist. So stage 6. So once you're essentially funneling your ideas here, so now you focus that, now you're getting yourself ready, you're getting yourself set up for your roadmap for the week. Now it's just having like a little checklist to make sure that you're actually showing up for you. People miss this part and then they wonder why they're really struggling. Now, I'm literally just going to give you this checklist, but imagine if you just ran through this checklist each and every week, how much would change? So focus any master action items that need to be broken into smaller chunks, any action items in your calendar that can be broken up, anything that you can delete off your calendar that isn't relevant and let people know why, anything that you can delegate as something else that you could do. Is there anything that you're resisting and what makes it challenging? All of these are questions to allow for self-reflection to give you an opportunity to operate in your week. And then just standard like health and fitness. Like, are you eating well enough? Are you drinking enough water? Are you exercising as you need? Because the worst thing that you can do is completely burn yourself out from just going and not showing up for yourself when you could have showed up for yourself by just having a checklist each week to check in with yourself and say, hey, I'm human. I have needs. I need to do these things. I need to sleep. I need to maybe meditate. I need to maybe feel better physically and emotionally. And you could check that off each and every week if you were doing this. This is why I always have bottled water. We never miss the water game because I had to go through this checklist at one time because there was one time where I was not drinking enough water. And now I always ahead of the week have at least 6 bottles of water. So, and then the same with relationships. Am I spending enough time with family and friends? Am I happy when I do? If not, what would changes? How can I work towards it? So there's just all of these checklist questions. If you want this checklist, just send me a message on Instagram at I am Luke Anning and just message me checklist and I will send you this checklist so that you can change your life. So there's also a training video at the top. Feel free to hit that as well. Like, all good. We'll just give you this. And this, honestly, this is going to change your life if you go through this weekly. There's also some business questions at the bottom as well around repeatable tasks that you're noticing that could be systemized and then delegated. What worked well, what didn't work, what's one area where you could develop your skill set more, how did you manage your time out of 10, what would get you closer to 10, and what opportunities are you missing that you could explore next week. So there's a lot of different things here. So feel free to just message me checklist and I'll send you this over. But if you're really ready to break free from the chaos and take control of your business, I would recommend joining my school community. I'll put the link down below. But the 6 steps just to cover are capture and collect, so making sure that you mind dump, funneling your brain, your mind, and reducing cognitive load by reducing the amount of tasks that you're in your head, putting them down on paper. Next is organizing and processing everything from that mind dump and putting it into your calendar or the master actions list. Like, things in the calendar might be, if it's 6 months out, then maybe you give yourself a 1 month reminder, right? The next thing is catching and following up with a week. The next is planning ahead of exactly what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. The next is getting ready, getting prepped, anything like that. And then the next is a weekly checklist. Now, it takes me 90 minutes now because I've done this probably 100 plus times. It may take you a little bit longer. Don't be hard on yourself. It's the first time I did this, it probably took me a few hours and I didn't do it all at once either. But that's the system, and it's part of the foundational things that we do over here at NeuroProductivity to help people get more done in less time with the least amount of effort as possible, so they can stop self-sabotaging and get out of their own way and focus, grow, and scale their business. So if you're interested in learning more about that, what I would recommend that you do is book in a consultation call with me down below, and I'll show you how to actually implement this system and scale effortlessly. And really, this is only for people making 5 to 30K a month, and you want to scale past 20 all the way up to 50. So if that sounds like an alignment with you, or if you just have massive goals of playing that big, you're not somebody who's like, oh yeah, I just want to make 5K a month. Like, if you want to make just 5K a month, you're probably not my person. If you're somebody who's like, hey, I want to get 20, 50, 100, I want to have a massive impact, then for sure, book down below and we can see if it's a good fit. Bring your credit card, bring some stuff. I don't want to waste my time hopping on a call for you to just get a free coaching opportunity. We already do that within my school community. If you are interested in that, just join the school community and book in a community research call like Valentina did, and we can give you some free coaching. But don't book in a consultation call with me. This is to learn how you can actually use this system, if it's going to make sense for you. And if it makes sense, we'll talk about what that can look like for you growing forwards and for you to ultimately scale your business, the same as Justin did when he went from 25K to 57K a month in just 30 days, how Taylor quadrupled her business in the first 5 weeks, how Steph had a 6-figure exit and is now clocking on for 5K months with working just 4 hours a day. And then she's looking to scale onwards from there. So again, she is one of my people, but yeah, she's scaling. That's the first little milestone that we're hitting. But anyhow, that is the training. I hope you took a lot from this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below what your biggest takeaway was. We'll see you in the next video.